What's going on, y'all? So listen. What's going on, y'all? So we back again and on time for Beyond the Gates this past week. What is this? Episodes 84 through 88. Now, listen. I don't know what was going on with the Paramount Plus app earlier today, but thank goodness that I be recording the episodes on my DVR and I can look at it on my Direct TV app or whatever, because I was trying to find episode 84 on the app and it wasn't on the app. I don't know what that was about, but it went from 83 to 85. And I said, I know I seen it on there the other day. But hey, I was able to watch it on my Direct TV app, so there's that. Hopefully we won't be on here long, but I really want to say some things because at this point I'm a little fed up with a couple of characters, all right? 42. Okay, that's cute. That's 14 minutes away. So, basically, let's just go character by character. Okay. Eva and Kat. Should have known, okay? Because you know what, Teddy, at this point, I'm writing you off. One, because how you get upset with Eva? Because, I mean, granted, this is your business. This is your, your operation, and you gotta make sure everything put together, whatever. But yet, you hire somebody that was not qualified for the job. You literally hired somebody because you felt bad that you were not in her life her whole time. Okay, that's fine. But if you're gonna hire somebody because you felt bad that you weren't in her life or their life growing up or whatever, because you didn't know about them, at least hire them into a position that they can readily and confidently, do and perform without any mistakes. Granted, mistakes does happen, but you gave your illegitimate daughter, I have to say it like that because that's literally what it is, you gave her a position that your other daughter had, right? And knowing damn well how they don't get along. And mostly it's because Kat don't F with her. Understandable, okay? Because you're a product of the fact that my father cheated on my mom and I just never thought that he would do something like that. And basically you helped destroy our family at this point. Because at this point, I don't see Ted and Nicole getting back together. Baby, he gonna have to put himself over some hot coals or whatever, burn himself or whatever, brand himself. I don't know. But at this point, I absolutely am confused as to how they're going to get back together, which makes me feel that they're never getting back together. Okay? And if they do get divorced, they'll probably do and revisit it years later on down the line. But at this current moment, I do not see them getting back together, especially after what happened this week. But yeah, so you got that going on, right? And then you got Kat supposed to be training her. But, of course, Kat, want to act like she's okay with it for the most part. Her tune kind of changed. And I apologize for the lighting, but I'm pretty sure you guys can see me. She wound up messing her over. Something that she was supposed to look into, a notification popped up talking about the certifications and all this stuff. Eva didn't do it because Kat basically told her, oh, we only do this every once in a while or whatever, and we already did it before, so you can just click off of that. So kind of found out they actually did need to do that, and so now because they missed that, they have to go back and do it all over again, plus pay money for it, okay? And Ted was pissed. Rightfully so, but this is also your fault, all right? What did you expect? Did you really expect for Kat to come up in there and to show her the ropes completely and to be 100% compliant? And so, of course, when he's talking to Kat after cussing out Eva and then apologizing to Eva, Eva is listening, and of course, Kat is trying to make Eva look like the bad guy when essentially Kat is the bad guy in this situation because she played her. And them two having it out, and Eva finally calling her a little stuck up bitch. I mean, it was granted. It was warranted. It was warranted. Stuck up, not necessarily, but calling her a bitch, she needed that, okay? She needs to get that off her chest. You know what I'm saying? So I really wasn't upset or feeling some type of way about that. I was like, go ahead, y'all. Y'all go ahead and duke it out. Because be real. How would you feel? How would you feel in a situation like that? Like, you thought that it was just you and your other sibling, And then the person that been around your family for the past couple of months or so, getting acquainted and all this stuff, come to find out that's your actual other sibling that you knew nothing about, that your father knew nothing about, and that came along because your father had an affair. And then she knew about him to a certain extent and helped hatch this evil plan, which now in effect is affecting the mom too. Now let me just get into this. Leslie trying to link up with Haley, girl, trash. We ain't even finna go there. Moving on from that, Leslie doing all this stuff to Nicole, and when Nicole finally choked her ass out, and Ted came up into that diner and tried to get her off of her and basically was kind of like, oh, you got to stop this or whatever. I just didn't like that reaction. Because what he should have did, truthfully, okay, in real talk, after the way that lady had been acting towards them, he should have been just cussed Leslie out. This is my motherfucking wife, okay? Do you understand that? I don't want you, all right? And why won't you just call the cops and get a restraining order? Granted, she'll probably be the one that, will break the restraining order. But at the same time, Ted likes this. You cannot tell me. First of all, I was so here for Nicole choking that bitch out, okay? It was needed. It was time for her to show her anger, and she released it on the right person. Because at this point in time, the way that Leslie was coming at her throat, and this is what I don't understand, basically trying to put this woman down who knew nothing about you. She knew nothing about you. She did nothing to you. So why do you have all this vitriol towards her? She was the wife. You were never going to be the wife. I can understand feeling some type of way because you feel like, damn, I thought he was going to pick me. But at the same time, be upset with Ted. Do all of that to Ted because Nicole didn't do nothing. Be fine. Come on. She embraced your daughter. She embraced your daughter when she didn't have to. Okay? And she still, in a sense, is embracing your daughter. But you are doing all of this mess to her and just being really rude and talking about the sex life. And when she said that shit about how when you was over there shooting yourself up, trying to get pregnant and all this stuff, whatever, Ted was over here laying my back out. And I said, bitch, at that point, Nicole should have took a knife and stabbed her. I'm sorry. I don't want to advocate for violence, all right? But if she would have poked her a little bit, I would have been fine with it. And then when Nicole basically told Ted, bitch, it's over. It's done with. And she walked the hell out, okay? When that happened, and then here comes Leslie talking about I feel dizzy because she choked the shit out of me, which she didn't, okay? And he was like, can you take me home? He was like, oh, come on. And mind you, she called him Teddy. And I said, you know what? This is why I can't with Teddy. I just feel like Turtleneck Ted, the original, probably wouldn't have did no shit like this. Like, he would have did some shit like this, but he wouldn't give in so easily. I don't know. This new Ted, maybe... And it ain't even the guy. Let me take that back. The character in general is pissing me off. Okay? Because why, after you just seen your wife who you were supposed to meet up with so that y'all could talk about your relationship, try to get it back on track, you see her going at her throat, literally. So you know how your wife is. This is totally out of character for her. So, of course, ding, 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 she's antagonizing my wife. So why are you going to get the person who has been causing so much trouble to your family a fucking ride home? I said, Teddy, this is what she wants. And after all of this, you still can't see through the bull. I said, are you serious, Ted? I'm wash my hands of it, okay? And at this point, I want Nicole to divorce him. Okay? Because why are you doing this? It just really grinds my gears. And I'm like, you seen, and then gonna tell her, oh yeah, I was up in the his hotel room and we was doing this and doing that. I said, what? And then when she was talking about Kat, now see, yeah, Nicole snapped on that too. She said, keep my daughter's name out your mouth. All right. Because at the end of the day, Nicole ain't talking about your daughter. Nicole ain't got nothing negative really to say besides the fact that she helped you with this. But she's not talking down upon your daughter. But you're talking down upon her daughter because she see through your bullshit, and she been seeing through your bullshit. And technically speaking, Kat got every right to say the shit that she said because you did what you did to her family. Girl, Leslie is trash. So then we get to Martin and Smitty, okay? Martin, Smitty, Jacob, Kat. I'm gonna need Kat to sit this investigation stuff out because again, Kat gonna wind up messing stuff up because she too anxious or whatever. I get that we want to get this lady out the way. We want to get her locked up or whatever. But you got to follow the rules, okay? You know, that's why they're there. And this is not your profession. Please let your nephew, or I should say, your brother-in-law, no, your cousin-in-law, let him go ahead and do his job, okay? Please. You know, he's dealing with a lot at this point because he's coming to the realization, or I'm going to say he's about to eventually, because I really feel like in his mind, Jacob thinks that his daddy is still a good cop and that Malone is the one that is truly the bad cop, which he is, but that Malone is trying to bring his daddy down or, you know, put stuff on his dad and, you know, his daddy is trying to keep Malone in line. No, your daddy is in cahoots too, okay? And with Jacob, that's going to crush his soul because Jacob is so by the books, okay? Him trying to do something that's illegal, taking things undercover, underhand, you know, working with the drug dealers or anybody, a criminal for a take on a job or whatever, that's never going to be him. He's the snitch that you got to watch out for, okay? You can't do no wrong around here because he going to snitch. And I mean, granted, you do what you got to do because it's that work. But, you know, he going to be the one that's going to snitch, okay? He by the book. Even his daddy told him that in the very beginning of the season that he needs to chill the hell out. And his daddy told him that this week too. Leave this stuff alone, okay? Because you just need to leave it alone before you get your ass in trouble. So, like, you good PD, but at the same time, you barking up a tree that you don't need to be barking up at. And when you find out what you're going to find out, it's going to hurt you extremely. And so basically, you're trying to give him a warning to just calm the hell down. Now, he wants Smitty to do the same thing. Smitty is not about to do that because Smitty is about to break the case. Smitty has already hacked into Malone's bank accounts to see where he get his money from, right? And all this large amount of money from on a cop's salary. Okay, cool. Malone even knows that somebody was up in his bank account, and I believe that he think that it was Smitty as well. And Smitty said, yeah, I did that. Little breadcrumbs here, little breadcrumbs there. You know, he's doing this all for his investigation. Okay, cool. To see if he'll slip up, you know. And at one point, Malone had told him basically that he got the money because his mama died or something like that. And, you know, insurance or a will or something like that. They came into this large payout and him and his sister, you know, split the money up or something like that. They already know that he lying, okay? They know that he lying because each and every time they talk about this whole incident that happened a couple of years ago, because this is when the money came into Malone's account, right? That $500,000, right? That came into his account around the same time during this incident where Martin came home distressed, okay? I'm going to just say this. Martin can't act for shit on here. He's a cool dude. I be looking at his TikToks or whatever. It's just like they got, I don't know if they got the character having him being so pent up and so tight in the ass and everything. No shade, but that's just literally what he is. He's just tight, okay? I want him to loosen the fuck out, okay? I want to be able to blow it. And it whistles. That's how loose I want him to be, okay? It's not natural, and that's what's irking me when it comes to Martin's character. You get what I'm saying? He tries to be this country a little bit because the little country action comes out, but then he's enunciating his words, but then he's speaking as if he's Malcolm X, you know what I'm saying? Like he's finna give a civil rights speech all the time. And I need him to loosen up and to make it flow more naturally. And that has been my same critique for the character who plays Martin. But I get that his character's supposed to be a tight ass. Okay, for real, for real. He's supposed to be one of them type A motherfuckers. And baby, Martin, you about to lose your man. That's what I really want. And I hate to do this because y'all know I don't really advocate for people to break up. I don't really advocate for the cheating stuff. But Smitty got to cheat on him. Smitty either got to cheat on him or Smitty got to divorce him, because I can't keep going through this. And if I can't keep going through this, I know damn well Smitty can't keep going through this, okay? Smitty did not deserve this mess. I know it's for sickness and health, life or death, rich or poor, all that stuff. But baby, how much I got to take? I'm trying. And I'm giving you all of the opportunities to tell me what the hell happened. I am your partner. I'm your husband. And you can't tell me that you damn near beat a man to death and now he coming after your ass for payback because y'all thought y'all had him out the paint, but he really ain't. Girl, now when all this blow up, because at this point I really feel like he gonna lose his man. He is gonna lose his husband because Smitty taking his job serious, okay? He been out the game for a minute, and this is why he been one of the top journalists in his field, right? Now he back in there, and I feel like that's one of the main reasons why Martin didn't want him to go back and be a journalist, because he knew that if he was to do so, something was going to happen where eventually he would have to investigate something that was going to be concerning and connected to Martin. And I feel like he knew that. And that's exactly what's happening, okay? And let me tell you something, Martin, you are not making it so that he can't think that something is going on. You're making it so obvious that something is going on. And I'm going to need you to get that shit in check. Okay? Get it in check. You can't be out here beating motherfuckers half to death. Alright? And then you can't keep yourself together. Okay? Only people who can just go ahead and do some stuff like that and walk away like ain't nothing happened can do stuff like that. Not a nigga like you. I'm just saying. Because some people, that's there to play on your conscience. And that's exactly what it's doing. And you're going to get yourself messed up. Anyway. And so Smitty is figuring this stuff out. At one point he finds out from one of his sources that Vernon spoke to the IA, Internal Affairs, on behalf of Malone. And so they was like, what the hell, that don't make no sense. And then Jacob Daddy tried to play it off as they had to talk to him or whatever, and Vernon took it upon himself to come up there and have a little conversation. He wasn't called, he just came over there to do some shit. And I was like, that still don't make no sense though. Why would he just come up there, on behalf of this man, this particular cop? What was the point, and he's in politics too, so of course he got strings to pull, right? Cool. Meanwhile, you got that going on, and let's just go back to the house, okay? Because you being so secretive, but not being secretive at the same time. Your man knows something going on because of your actions, all right? All of a sudden, you want to get a police escort around the whole house, put it on the kids and all that stuff. Smitty down at the, the police station with Jacob, he get the word, and he like, wait a minute. My man ain't tell me nothing about this, so now he got to go home. Him having a conversation, they having a goddamn conversation. Smitty is on the verge of tears. The man's eyes is just watering, and Martin still don't want to tell him the truth. I said, do you see the pain that you are causing this man? Martin, just tell him, okay? Now let me tell you this. You're becoming very paranoid because you thought the situation was handled. Mind you, Martin didn't know nothing about what they had planned. He was supposed to give, they was going to give the money to, what's his name, Kenneth, okay? And then that was supposed to be it. Now, y'all saw what happened in the beginning, in the very beginning of the episode for Monday. Basically, Randy was going to come up in there and he was supposed to take him out. Now, mind you, I said that was the only way they was going to get rid of this problem, okay? But of course, it wasn't going to be that easy. Randy grows a conscience. Now, all this time you've been working with goddamn Joey, I'm pretty sure he'd had you do this, had you do that. And now when it comes time to actually putting your shit to work, okay, making yourself useful, for real, putting in that work, you grow a conscience because now all of a sudden it's about your wife and your kid. You work for Joey. You work for goddamn Joey. Was it about them before that? Okay, I know he'd had you do some other shit, but this is where you cross the line. Oh, okay. In the criminal world, I just feel like there's no line that you can really stop crossing, But hey, that's just me. I look at a lot of criminal stuff, so, gangster stuff and all that shit. And if they had to put the work in, they got to put the work in. Now, Randy, even if you wasn't going to do what you supposed to have done, you could have at least came up with a better lie than that. Okay? Now, I just really want to know how you thought that you was going to survive from $10,000 in Bali. Were you just going by yourself or was you taking your family with you? Because the tickets alone would have cost at least almost $10,000 a round trip. Because I know you're not finna fly economy. That's a long ass flight. Okay? From the States to Bali. And then how was you gonna, survive over there? You had a little bit change, so you only took $10,000. Now see, what was supposed to happen was he was supposed to take Kenneth ass. Okay, is his name Ken? Yeah, Kenneth. We gonna call him Kenneth. Supposed to take his ass and take him out. Okay, and then get the money back. He came back and said that he took the man out. Somebody saw him. Or he think that somebody saw him, so he needs to go ahead and lay low. And, he thinking about his wife, his kid, and all that stuff, whatever. And Joey was like, go take him to Disney World and you'll be gone to the good, it is what it is, right? And he said, where my money at? Because he was also supposed to get the money back. Randy go get the money. Okay. Now, Joey wound up looking through that bag and realizing that, bitch, hold on, it's a little light. Bitch, 10,000 of these dollars are gone. Where the hell Randy at? Now, I'm going to tell Doug and Vanessa, mind your business, okay? I like the way that y'all strong-armed the fuck out of Joey to make this deal with him so that y'all can get a bigger percentage and all this stuff for, laundering the money and her do her job or whatever. But when it comes to shit like this and the casino was already closed and you want to pop up Doug, talk about something, what's going on here? None of your business. None of your business. Okay, but, truth be told, they did, them showing up did save Randy because, Joey was about to kill his ass. Joey was about to take his ass out because, you can't steal from a mobster and think that you just gonna get away with it. They're gonna be on your ass until they find you, okay? And he's very fortunate that, and it wasn't even because Doug was there. It was because Vanessa is there. Because we saw earlier, Joe, I don't know what the hell Vanessa got between her legs. But baby, that man was hypnotized, okay? He couldn't get enough of it. He over there having flashbacks, standing up, looking at that poker table like, God damn. She's in his skin. She's in his bloodstream, And so that's the reason why. You want to know, he tried to act all pissed off that she up in his business or whatever. And then here's the thing, again, Doug, after y'all, make this deal or whatever to save Randy and to get him out of town or whatever, and he let them do, Joey wanted to speak to Vanessa about herself. And you let him? Doug, I don't want to say you're not a man, but bitch, man the fuck up. You don't want that lady. You don't want that lady. You don't want that lady to want you. You're not standing up for her. You're not putting your foot down. You already think that she pussyfooting around with this man and he pussyfooting all up in her puss. And that is what it is. And you gonna still just let him have her? What? Because they about to do it up in there. I said, damn, your man just left like 2 seconds ago. And y'all all up in... But let me tell you something. Vanessa and Joey's connection, I understand it. They got chemistry and they got heat between them, okay? And let me tell you something. All of this is getting Vanessa on a high, okay? Y'all noticed that she came back and she had her hair flat ironed a little bit. She done came up with the time because she used to have that shit bump like it was 1980s, okay? When she first came on, she had a blowout. Now she got that shit silk pressed down. I said, you know what, Vanessa? And it makes her look a little bit younger too. I said, yes, bitch. That old man giving you some dick of your life. Girl, I get it. Well, I don't understand that. I don't understand that. Don't let me get up here to lie. Girl. Damn, the light. Man, it's only 6 o'clock almost. But yeah, girl, I was just like, what we not gonna do is that, right? What we not gonna do is that. And is that a little bit better? I don't want nobody to complain and be like, damn, bitch, I can't see you. Okay, I'm sorry. I want perfection with y'all too. But yeah, so I'm just like, oh my goodness, these characters. And then Kenneth is not dead, of course. Kenneth, and see, this is the part and the most frustrating episode or a part of this week's episode. I know we want to be, and I hope this don't sound a type of way, because I'm gay and shit too, so you want to have a family, but at this point, do something to the kids and get them off of the show. Make them go to a summer camp, okay, and we don't see them for a few weeks. Because what the fuck? These have got to be the dumbest kids, all right? I don't get... It's 2025. It's 2025, okay? And you have a father who is in politics, a senator, a congressman, right? So, and you also got a grandfather who is a former senator, you know? And you have a grandmother who is somebody that was a singer that was very popular, and they always getting people coming up to them. So they got to be careful, because you don't know what people's intentions are. And regardless of who the fuck your people are, you'll bring some goddamn man into the damn house that you don't know of. Okay, talking about some, I knew him, I already know him or whatever. He was my friend online or whatever. Because y'all used to play chess online and you knew him for a couple of weeks and he spotted you when you was out. Bitch, what? That don't feel real to you? That's weird, fucking Terrell. Like I said, stranger danger don't mean nothing to you. All right, stop, drop, and roll means stop, drop. You keep on walking. Girl, somebody light you up, baby, you gonna keep on walking and be like, what do I do? That's them kids, okay? I said, oh my, and then got the nerve to be upset at Martin. Now, granted, Martin can be a lot. And do I think he kind of overreacted? Hell no, because he knew who the fuck Kenneth was, okay? You done let this goddamn man up into my house. And granted, even if it wasn't Kenneth, okay? If it wasn't even Kenneth, it's a stranger and it's a man, okay? Even if it was a woman, it's a stranger, bitch. But at the same time, you can't trust nobody these days. And then to say that you met him off of online and then you never met in person and you're acting like you truly know this person and you only known them for 2 weeks online for playing chess, and you allowed him up into your... Bitch, Terrell would have had everything up in his goddamn... Ooh, everything would have been stripped out in that room. I don't give a good goddamn, bitch, okay? The kids don't have punishments like that these days, all right? The kids don't know and remember that fat meat is goddamn greasy and it ain't good for you, bitch, okay? Listen, he needs a whooping. Now, I know these days everybody doing the gentle parenting. The peoples don't want to put belt to ass, but that little boy need a belt to ass, okay? I don't give a good goddamn how old he is. Somebody needs to pull the belt off and spank him, okay? Because what the hell? You let a stranger into your parents' home and no one else is there? Anything could have fucking happened to you. And then for the stranger to wind up being Kenneth, who was coming out to your daddy. Granted, you don't know that. But see, oh my God, that's just fucking stupid. And then just being upset because the way Martin put him out. Bitch, he's a fucking stranger. But see, Martin, and this is why Martin needs to go ahead and tell his family what the fuck is going on. This goddamn secret that you keep holding on, the way that the priests work, they will rally around each other. They're going to protect each other, right? So why are you keeping this a secret? They're not going to be upset with you. They're probably going to be upset with you now because you did all of this shit to try to hide it from them. But you're literally putting your family in danger trying to keep this secret away from them, right? Then you got Samantha ass going down there to the park and Kenneth ass sitting there talking to her. I said, what the fuck? I need some help doing something with my phone. Oh, you just an angel. I wouldn't know what to do. I'm so glad I ran into you, bitch. What? And she just sitting there. Oh, I can do that for you. Do. I said, what? What is going on? I said, where the fuck we get these kids from? Oh, why y'all got them written like this? So goddamn stupid. And then Martin, you just so... He laying there with the bag. He looking out the window. You look so suspicious and everything. You got everybody on high alert, but you won't tell them what's going on. Your man crying in his face and looking at you and like black begging and pleading. And you just, Smitty divorce him and take the kids. Get full custody of the kids. Because, bitch, I cannot, okay? Meanwhile, I'm a Ashley. Now, girlfriend, you fucked around and let your storyline get a little interesting because all of a sudden you finna play around with Andre. So she going on a little date with Andre. You know, she doing this little testing the dating thing out. For her, I don't think it's 100% serious yet. Like, she knows she got some feelings, but she not really trying to go there yet. Because, damn, bitch, I'm like, Ew, if you trying to get into a relationship with him, you ain't even let the break up. Like, girl, you just broke up with Derek yesterday. Literally, the day before you broke up with Derek. Maybe two, okay? You just broke up with him, and now you out on a date with this man. I don't give a damn if you trying to, wet your little whistle or whatever, trying to do something with friend. I don't give a good goddamn. It just don't look right, okay? And then for you to get up in your feelings because Shanice was up there talking and having a little, sit down with Derek too. Shanice don't want Derek, bitch, okay? And at this point in time, y'all got to get into and understand what happening. Shanice, she knew that they was, they're not together no more. But at the same time, I don't think that she really wants him, right? I really feel like, and especially when it comes to Derek, I don't think Derek wants Shanice either. It was just a friendly type of situation. And it looks something more because, again, the situation is heightened because they just broke up and everybody knows each other, right? And so what I feel is happening, Shanice looking like, oh, okay, since you want to give me this fever and this flavor, whatever, when they got to work the next day, and Ashley threw that goddamn iPad at her like that, I said, hold the fuck up. Now, Shanice said, now, hold on. You and that man ain't even together no more, okay? And I was just over there giving him a thank you, Jenna, because, he responded officer and everything. He be saving people. So, I just want to show my thanks, okay? And it ain't my fault that you and your man, which ain't your man, y'all not together no more. And at the end of the day, Ashley, y'all not friends like that, okay? That is your coworker. And technically speaking, that's your kind of your boss a little bit. But Shanice, I'm going to have to get you together too. Because like Ashley said, I don't need to fucking tell you everything that's going on in my life, okay? You don't have to know everything. You gossip a little bit too much on the job, and that can cost you your job, okay? Because you be all up in everybody's business. And she look like the type of bitch that probably gonna trick on your ass and get you fired, okay? So you need to calm that down, all right? I'm telling you what I know, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to look out for you, sister. Because I want you to have your job because you up there running shit, obviously, But Ashley, you can't really be too mad at Shanice. Shanice is not your good girlfriend. She's not your friend like that. That's your boss. And you broke up with that man. You don't want nobody being with him? Or is it just because it's Shanice, or is it because it's somebody that's really kind of like close, not friends, but close because you see that bitch every day? Understandable, but at the end of the day, she don't want that man. And then them working out and doing all that shit, she did that shit on purpose to make her feel some type of way. I said, I know the game, girl. Like, you want to come at me? Let me make you even more uncomfortable. But see, let me tell you something. Ashley looks so goddamn much more older than Andre. She looked older than Andre. And when they was up in there, and then Danny popped up, and Danny came over there. Oh, so you was talking to somebody else, and what happened, and all this stuff, and woo woo woo. And Andre was reading the fuck out of her without, saying her name or whatever. Ashley gets up, and, Danny had some shit to say about Ashley. Oh, so you gonna go with this little girl? This little this and a little nurse and all this stuff? Ashley popped up and said, oh, so since we talking about nurses, now when Ashley got bucked with Danny a little bit like that, I said, wait a minute, bitch. I said, now hold on, Ashley. I'm not even upset at that. But at the same time, Danny, you can't feel some type of way because you don't. But then again, you kinda, cause she do know. I get it. I see it two ways, I guess. On the one hand, I could say that she can feel some type of way because Andre has been trying to get into an actual quote unquote relationship or do, put y'all out there for real for a minute now. And now it's just now, you just now telling your peoples, and it's like a little bit too late, but not really. But at the same time, Andre, you can't really get upset because that lady just came out of a relationship, a tumultuous relationship, something that she's been in, like that's the only relationship and the only man that she knows. So of course she's gonna be a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs because she got to see the shit every goddamn day, And so yeah, she's still healing, and you're trying to, baby, why are you trying to get with somebody that got a whole bunch of baggage? That's one, okay? You caught feelings, and you should have just stayed fuck buddies. That's just really what it is, all right? Now, when he went over there to the house and tried to cuss her out and say, what the fuck was wrong with you, when they wound up having sex afterwards, I said, yeah, keep that. Fire and goddamn desire. Baby, maybe I'm just freaked out or it's just been a minute because I liked it. I said, you know what? Danny and Andre be having some good ass scenes for PGTV. I said, you know what? Do your thing. They gonna still be fucking around Okay, so it is what it is. Ashley, you might could just go ahead and try to get Derek back. Okay, Derek, the way that he be looking, Derek will take her ass back in a second. He just hurt a little bit, let him calm down. He'll take your ass back. Um, Mind you, Danny up there trying to get this goddamn modeling agency out the way. Pam saying they ain't getting no traction, but she like the way that we can get some traction is to have your ass put out there. She said, girl, what? No, I am not finna be no model and all that stuff. I said, yes, you need to. Come on. Look at how the Cynthia Bailey agency happened. It came and went, bitch. We don't want that to happen. Fuck, man. What the fuck happened? Like, that has so much potential. For real, for real. And they had eyes on them on TV and everything. Oh, Cynthia, you could have did so much with that. But, yeah. So you got that going on. And then this whole situation with Haley, and she went over there to Bill and them house to get him a pumpkin pie or a sweet potato pie or whatever, and to apologize, and to see if she was okay. Now, Haley, I'm going to need you to stop it. All right? Danny, I'm so glad that she stood her ground, and even when Bill tried to come at her and said, now listen, bitch, that's what he really wanted to say, but Haley had to calm him down and was like, you know what, no, don't do that. He said, now when I went over to your house and tried to smooth things over, I really thought that we turned a new leaf. I said, why would you think that? Why would you think that? And truth be told, truthfully, you should know your wife or your ex-wife. And you already said, because Haley said, was she always like this or whatever? And he said, to be honest, that was the attraction. And I told y'all, a certain amount of crazy, a certain amount of, that is kind of attractive. Well, at least to me. But she doing a little bit much. But at the same time, she is looking out for Bill still. Because granted, she don't fuck with Haley and she don't like it. And she want to be like a, ooh, I told you so type of moment. She know that bitch ain't pregnant. And when she told her, yeah, that sweet potato pie, just let you know I made that shit from scratch. And I said, bitch, what you trying to say? You poisoned some shit. Mind you, Haley went up there to that doctor and Ashley saw her ass and Ashley was looking at her like, damn, bitch, should I tell? Now, see, Ashley, that's the time that you should have bust that bitch out. Okay, but like, bitch, I know your ass ain't pregnant. You up here talking about, so you want to come up here trying to look at the ultrasound or whatever. You ain't even take no goddamn ultrasound. And it was eating Ashley up. You know she wanted to say something, but she needed to keep her job. She needed to keep her job, okay? Now, Leslie sitting down with Haley and trying to do this whole let's team up, enemy of my enemy is my friend. Bitch, no, okay? Absolutely not. Y'all got two different situations, all right? And it ain't even what it is, all right? So, leave that alone. Leave that alone. Also, this whole situation, who the fuck fucked up June like that? Why they put her in the hospital like that? June ain't out there doing nothing but living under the underpass, minding her goddamn business and holding on to her picture. That's it. And then Naomi saw that there was a number on the picture and she called that number and they hung up the phone as soon as she mentioned her name. I said, goddamn, what the fuck was that about? Oh. Okay. But yeah. Now the last thing I want to talk about, did I get everything that I need to? Did it? Chelsea and goddamn Madison. Well, before we get to that, Anita, the girls got a right to feel the way that they feel, okay? Anita was out there in Chicago, and they was in a hotel room, and she tried to tell the girls, hey, we doing everything good or whatever, but when it comes to this choreography, let's see, how the girls be these days, let's try to, modernize it just a little bit to our taste, but give it a little bit of modernization. Do what we do, but modernization a little bit, because you got the people you look at Beyonce and you see how she doing her tour. Which tour you talking about? All of them. And I said, you're right. I said, not even the older ladies, the seasons and the ones that paved the way looking up to my girl like that, but she's correct. Incorporate the old, do a little bit of new, whatever, to get the people wet. Well, we don't want to do that. Well, do we? Their tongues wet, their palate, just yearning and wanting more, whatever. I got where Anita was coming from, right? She went up, took it upon herself to, look into this whole thing and trying to get this modern, update their choreography or whatever. She don't want to be just stuck in the past, even though they doing older songs and all that stuff and it's a reunion. She want to modernize it a little bit, right? And the girls took offense to it. The girls took offense to it like, bitch, what the fuck are you trying to do? And it was more so because they're getting flashbacks as to the reason why the group broke up, because Anita is a control freak. That's how they feel. They feel like if it's not her way, it's the highway. And they have to just go along with the ride, okay? They have no say. So on the one hand, I 100% understood why they felt the way that they felt and why they came at Anita's throat. I also understood why Anita came at their throat too, and she got up in her feelings. But bitch, let me tell you something. I understand that you said that the girls was the one. I think it was Tracy. She was the one that brought up the money situation. Because like they said, you don't need this. We need this. You've accomplished everything. And after all this go away, you aren't going to be hurting for anything. People still going to know who you are. You're still going to go home to that big ass mansion. You got your husband who's the senator, all this stuff. You're still going to be comfortable, and people still going to be coming up to you and be like, I'm on Anita Dupree, look at you, and woo woo woo, you're this and you're that. Whereas we still going to be scraping by after this. And we want to do this stuff so that we can at least get something out of it for real, that's going to help us. And Anita got offended by that. I was like, bitch, so you've been doing this shit to kind of use me to get some goddamn money? Well, how about I pay for this and I pay for that and I just go about my married? I said, now hold on, Anita. I get it, but I really feel like Anita kind of like, she not listening. Okay, because she got her little feelings hurt because they told her ass off. They told her some truth. But at the same time, it's like, I feel like when it came to Anita, it's like, I know, like, girl, I get it that you pissed off at me or whatever, and I'm trying to make amends, and I don't need you to keep throwing it in my face. But if you want to talk about things, let's talk about things in a mature way. Let's hear each other out. And I'm trying to hear y'all out, but y'all steadily not trying to hear me out, and you throwing the past and shit up in my face. That's where Anita is coming from. And she told them to get their asses up out the goddamn hotel. You can get the hell up out my hotel suite. I said, shit, bitch. There's a lot going on over there. Y'all are doing a lot, okay? I said, and then I said, not you crying. You just kicked them out. And she said, you know what? The tour, the little date or whatever, it can still go on. I'm just not going to be there. I'll continue to let you pay for it. The old choreographer, the old choreography and all that shit can go through too. But I'm just not going to get on that goddamn stage. Y'all can do it. I said, now, Anita, you know damn well. That's like Beyonce telling Farrah, because that's the only one that we don't give a damn about. You can go ahead, you and your luggage can go ahead and do that show by yourself, and you can see what happened. That's what what's the equivalent to. Girl, work it out. Y'all too old to be going through all this shit. Life's too goddamn short, especially for y'all right about now, No shade, but let's just be honest and be real, I don't want to see y'all acting like this. Get it together, sisters. Meanwhile, this lesbian triangle that's going on, Madison, the way she be bringing up Chelsea social media and stuff in conversations, I don't know. See, I keep on saying, like, she keep ticking in my brain that something about her is just not. It's just not. I want to fully be like, yeah, go ahead and be with your girl. But the way that they got together so quick, the way that she acted in the beginning, when they first met each other, and then acting like you didn't see her, you didn't know her, and all this stuff, and then come to find out you follow her, and you all up in her shit or whatever, it's giving maybe were you cyber stalking her a little bit because you know so much about her. Even if I was, that's like if I meet Beyonce, baby, I'm not finna sit there and just talk to her about all her shit. Fuck no. Okay, like, goddamn, bitch, you already know I'm a fan, but bitch, I'm not finna sit here and talk to you about that. So how's the weather? Yeah, girl, do you, like, when it get cold, what you do? Like, do you put on furry socks or do you put on moccasins? Like, what do you do? You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, what type of books you like to read? Oh, okay, yeah, girl. Listen, let me tell you something. This could happen in this one or whatever. Bitch, we're not talking about music. We're not talking about music. I'm treating you like a regular goddamn person. And sometimes Madison be acting like she goes in and out. Like she want to be with her as a regular person, but then she look at her as a fan. Like she's a fan of hers. Like she comes off as a fucking super fan. And I'm be like, God damn, Madison, what the fuck is going on? But see, Madison, you gonna probably have to beat Allison. I ain't gonna say that. You gonna probably have to cuss her ass out. I'm gonna put it that way, okay? Cause it don't need to get physical unless y'all finna do it. And y'all know my solution to everything and stuff like this. Y'all don't just go ahead and be a throuple. Oh, let's just be a throuple, okay? Because Alice said, it's always you don't miss what you got till it's gone. Now, you said that you and old girl wasn't in no goddamn relationship. Your husband was all jealous or whatever because you wanted to mess around and have a little plaything with Chelsea, and Chelsea, you told Chelsea no or whatever, and woo woo woo, and now that she done moved on and she got a little relationship, even Allison clocked it. Oh, so you love her, you with her, whatever, y'all only been together for a couple of weeks or so. I said, damn, Allison was counting down the time like, okay, well, see, this happened on this day, and if you with her now and you saying that it's only been a couple of weeks, okay, since all this shit happened, you know what I'm saying, and basically that bitch is a rebound. That bitch is a rebound. That's what she wanted to say. Let me tell you something. I really feel like Allison ain't got her screws ain't they loose. Okay, them bitch ain't just loose. Them motherfuckers is dangling. They're already out the hole and just laying on the floor, just spinning. Okay, that's just what's going on. You look at that bitch and she just be like, I be like, girl. What? I said, now Chelsea, it look like the head game fire. But she a little on the cuckoo side, okay? And I'm going to need you to be careful with that one because the way the bitch popped up after you done told her, no, girl, I don't want to do this, okay? She was like, go ahead and let us start again. Let us be in a relationship. Let us get... She said, no, I'm in a relationship with Madison. I love her. I'm together with her. You love her. After a couple of weeks, yeah, bitch, you had your chance and it is what it is, okay? So move the fuck on. She was like, all right, bitch, why would she pop back up? She popped back up. I said, Allison. Girl, at this point, Chelsea got two potential psychopaths on her case on two various degrees. Okay? That's how I feel. But anyway, y'all, it was a good week. I'm looking forward to next week. I'm so mad that they took off the last week, like the week before. You know, it was last week. Not this week, but last week. We didn't get anything. That was crazy. But anyway, you guys tell me what y'all feel about it. If I missed anything, let's talk about it in the comments. Oh, I love it. I be watching the shit at work. I just be sitting there cracking up. But it gets me through my day. You guys tell me how y'all feel. I hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And I will see y'all later. Peace.